I want to welcome everybody to the Board of Zoning Appeals. And appreciate you coming out tonight. And everybody else here. And we'll start out by the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And have working on secretary.
Andrew Melshon,
Present.
Dan Osborne,
Present.
Andrew Strati,
Present.
Barry McManaway,
Present.
John Christ is present. Also note that our building commissioner, Steve Gorski, and our town manager, Kevin Dante, are here.
Full board. Everybody here. All right, next thing on the agenda is the reorganization of the board, which was never first year. So if we want to, we'll start with our secretary. I think we all know.
I nominate John Chris for secretary. I second that. I'll do that.
Wonder how this
vote's gonna go.
All in favor? Aye. Unanimous?
All opposed?
All opposed?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say aye to, I'm okay with it.
Okay, that's all we care about.
I need a motion to approve December 19th, 2024 minutes. Everybody's had a chance to
Isn't
look
there
at it?
more to reorganization of the board than just secretary?
Oh, no, yeah, everybody else needs to be on there, on your good secretary. All right, we'll go with the president then next.
I nominate Barry McManaway for president. I second that.
And I'll accept, I guess, the nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thought it was starting to look like a Colombian dictatorship over there, passing over the election process.
All right,
Who motioned?
I did.
And who seconded?
I seconded.
Yeah, Vice President.
and next for vice president.
I nominate Andrew Melshon. Damn. Oh, is it you? Yeah.
All right, just let you know, Dan Osborne is sitting vice president at this time, so.
I want to retract my nomination and put out a new nomination. I nominate Dan Osborne for vice president. I second that.
I appreciate the second. You don't.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried.
Read the script, Stratty.
Now we go to approve the December minutes.
Do the officers get more pay then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Got it.
that's what I thought. Okay. Just
Yeah,
I just want to clarify. I just want to make sure that gets.
Are you making a motion that the president and vice president get
And secretary.
and the secretary? What about the other two members?
Well,
Maybe they should pay it.
I fully support the idea of giving each officer 5% of the current existing salary that the members earn.
yeah.
That's a mandate from the town manager, so.
Yeah.
1200 Bill boys.
Nothing is nothing, right?
All right. Now, everybody's had a chance to look at the December 24 meeting. I'll have a motion to approve.
I motion that we approve the December 19th, 2024 minutes. I will second.
And a first and a second. So all in favor to approve? Saying aye.
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 Chair says aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right. Got a busy night tonight. We got one case. 2024-B02 at 344 Cecil Drive in Clark. The petition been filed for a 5.5 feet setback from the 10-foot rear yard setback or side yard setback, I'm sorry. to install an addition to connect the existing house and the garage. And you present that?
Sure. I'm Dave Powers, petitioner here. First of all, thanks for everybody's time tonight and considering this request to make an addition between the main house and the garage. The thought here, the desire is to take what is currently a patio that exists between, it's a pavered patio, almost the entire area is. We want to connect the existing garage to the main house. The home was built, I think, in 1976. So it's prior to what I believe is the current zoning laws in place, which is why this variance request is triggered. But our goal with the renovation is to allow for a better access to the space that's above the garage. Right now, it's a stairwell that is frankly dangerous probably to use. It runs up in the interior of the garage. And so we want to, as part of this renovation, bring that inside the new addition and then access the loft above the garage that has a bathroom and so forth up there through the new addition space. And then as part of that, we'll create a foyer and a better entrance to the home that exists today, more aesthetically pleasing in our opinion, and also just a better access to the house for various reasons. One of the things I think is important to note is we did work closely with our design with the home that is to the east, which on this drawing here, it's where that green circle is, you see with the note. We talked with that homeowner and shared our plans with them along the way. Yes, it's the house with the darker shingles on the right-hand side. The Peppers and they're supportive of it. They've provided a letter of support as well for our plans. Another thing to note is that the garages exist today. So the structure that is to the south is actually closer to the property line than the main house. And so one of the things that was important to the Peppers was that we build our addition off of the exterior wall of the home. So it's a little bit farther away from the property line. We made it as far as we could, which this package here does illustrate that there. You can see it's still 6 feet 7 inches, which is obviously inside the 10 feet, which is why we're here today. But just wanted to point out that we are trying to get it as far as we can, and we did spend a fair amount of time with the property owner that is most closely affected by this. You cannot see the addition as it's drawn from the lake or materially, I would say, from South Shore Drive. So it doesn't have any impact on lake views or folks that are driving around off South Shore Drive. I don't have the exact calculation of the impervious materials, but one thing I would say on that note is that right now it is nearly all an impervious material today because it's a tile, and so I don't think we're changing materially, I should say, changing what exists today from that perspective. So with that, I would open it up for any questions you guys have.
I guess first thing I'd ask is, we're talking about as far as the house with the dark things, whatever. Have you had any objections or any comments from the owners?
I have a letter from the neighbor next door.
Oh, okay.
So now's probably a good time to read that.
Yeah.
So it's addressed to the town of Culver. The subject is variance request for home addition project at 344 South Shore Drive, Culver, to whom it may concern. Please allow this letter to serve as confirmation of our support for the proposed home addition project located at the above mentioned address and as detailed in the homeowner's request for variance of development standard dated December 10th, 2024. Respectfully, Brett and Gail Pfeiffer, 348 South Shore Drive, Culver. So this would be the house in the picture directly to the right.
Yeah.
Which is the one would be most affected.
Could you spell their names again?
It's right at the bottom.
Yeah, and that's the reason I brought it, 'cause I knew as far as this, it would just.
So
be a little bit more
this house
effective
right
to that
here.
house.
Correct.
Yeah.
And basically 2 feet difference between the edge of the garage and this addition.
Correct. That's correct.
There's no eve on the addition, right?
I'm sorry.
There's no eve on the addition,
There is.
but
It's,
it doesn't stick out any further than the house.
So it doesn't stick any further. than
no, yeah, correct. No further than the existing home today. It actually doesn't have any gutters right now. The home doesn't have any gutters. So we're working through potentially adding gutters if it makes sense to, that was also because of the neighborhood, the Peppers are voiced a comment that there is some drainage through there. And so one of the things we want to do is improve it with this addition project. So that's I think a positive for everybody, but right now there are no gutters and we are not building we're not proposing to build any farther away from what the existing main house eaves are.
So we originally talked about this, it was at 6.7 feet from the exterior wall, and then we discussed about overhang, so that's why it changed to 5.5 feet from the roof line.
Correct.
So that would be considering the gutters that might be addition later on.
Well, this says no gutters exist.
No
at this
gutters
time.
exist today.
So this didn't factor in for gutters, but it factors to what it says is to the roof line.
That's right.
Okay,
And currently the existing garage is 4 feet 7.5 inches from the property line.
Correct.
Yeah, I drove by and looked at it. You're right. It's really kind of hard to see.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, you gotta be over in front of your neighbor's house to kind of see. Where that would go.
It's kind of hidden in there a little
Yeah.
bit.
For one thing, if it says you want to put a new concrete walk in here, what's in that area right now?
It is mostly concrete. Right now, there's a gravel landscaping bed that runs through majority of what you're seeing there. And then where that new concrete walk exists, probably where the arrow is right now might be a little bit of plantings, but to be honest with you, that new concrete walk is not final. So we don't necessarily have to have that component. It's
but you-
looking-
I don't think you're going to affect impervious surface from what I see. I think, so I think they're over impervious already.
Okay.
Just best guess, but just looking at the picture on Beacon, I think they're going to be over it, but I don't think they're going to affect what's already there. It's pretty covered right now. But I guess I would suggest if you want to put something in, they make pavers that are
Okay.
pervious pavers.
Okay.
That water can get through.
Okay.
And there's a lot of people who are using that in landscaping around the lake.
Okay.
It allows water to pass through, but you still have that paver look.
Okay.
It's actually pretty amazing and it's really good for your yard too.
Okay.
I mean, I know, far along the lake, a lot of people are going to that,
Okay.
which it has been a big help on the drainage part.
Okay.
Because even when they put the concrete, you still had the runoff on the concrete, that created problems on property next to it
Mhm.
as well. So, I mean, you would be killing two birds with one stone.
Okay. Okay.
It's a benefit to you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's no problem from our perspective.
And just so I'm clear now that you're asking for the 5 foot, 5 inch, but it says from the exterior wall. Oh, it's 6'7" from the exterior wall.
That's
Sorry,
right.
that one existed.
The reason is probably the illustration is difficult because it doesn't show the impact of the roof line or the eaves. That's why I tried to draw it. I tried to note it, I'm sorry, with the words.
Right. Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify that the gutters are gonna be still at 5 foot, 5 inch.
Right.
If you put gutters on it, they'll extend out another 4 inches beyond that.
I think that's about right. Let me see if I have a photo.
So you'd actually be at 5 foot, like 1 inch if you put gutters on.
That's probably right.
And that's what I'm trying to get at.
Is the overhang more than a foot?
Overhang is probably.
It depends.
14 inches?
They vary. They
No,
can
They
no,
do.
be
those
from
old houses
1
back
foot
in,
to
it
6
depends.
inches to.
A lot of times it depends on the peak,
Yeah.
you know, whether it's 12 or
Right, yeah,
Whatever.
the pitch.
Whatever the existing house is, it looks like it's
So-
just gonna track with that.
If you go, whoever's controlling this, if you go down to the exhibits, if you, there's the front, you can see the difference
Oh,
there.
yeah, it was a picture.
But if you scroll right here, so this is what the drawings show. So you can see there's no,
No,
there's a gutter on the garage, which exists today. There's no gutter on the addition, there's no gutter on the home. My point about the gutter was that the home, the Peppers had talked to me about, well, should we put or should a gutter go in? I was like, well, we're willing to talk about that if it's an improvement of some sort, but we didn't draw it that way. So that's why I presented it the way that we planned the construction.
But even with the gutter, you still have it's over a foot to the edge of the garage.
Right, that's right.
And that's the garage.
You can-
The far back there,
Yeah,
Right,
on your proposed.
correct.
So in this picture, is this the area you'd
That's
enclose?
right, yes.
Okay.
The sidewalk that's on the new addition,
Mhm.
Is that the same as that?
is that same or relatively same as the sidewalk that's in the left picture?
Yes, the intent is actually to just leave it the same. The drawing, the rendering is probably not, it's a rendering, so it's not perfect, and it shows a right angle. What our goal is to not disturb the existing sidewalk at all. We want that doorway you see in the rendering to enter right exactly where that curved sidewalk is. So we don't want to touch anything there. It's just,
And back to the impervious, and you already got, like you said, pavers and stuff, and we can see that the pavers are there, so that's,
When did you purchase this house?
we closed on November 8th, I believe, of 2024.
So you just bought it?
Just bought it, correct.
So how are you gonna do that, where that pitch is off the existing, and you're gonna eliminate that? That comes down to that post?
Yes, correct. So do you see where the trim board that runs up through the ephes,
Right,
right up the brick line on the left? I'm looking at the left.
right, yeah, that from there on,
We're going to
straight up from
take that
there.
out, and then we are going to frame across over to the garage, which
Okay.
you can see here. And do you see the dormer above the garage?
Correct,
That is going to extend out, right, and connect into the home, the main house. That's the plan.
so that dormer is gonna go all the way across
Correct.
the new addition, that
That's right.
addition. Like,
That's right.
right, no, right, yes, okay,
and
I got
and
you.
will the new dormer be the same height as the old dormer,
Yes.
and will come out,
You're not raising the height.
We're not raising it. It's
you're not raising the height, and you're not extending it easterly at all?
No, and that was an important part with the Peppers as well. We talked about was maintaining the height. The height is less. The height of the addition is less than the height of the main house. So it's, you can see it in the rendering here. It's lower than, it's really the same height as the garage structure, which is lower than the main house.
But are you changing the pitch? I mean, what Dan's talking about? The pitch comes down this way on the, where the connection comes on there now. It looks like it's going
Here.
north and south.
See, maybe.
All right.
Yeah, see that question?
Yeah, like here, where it shows you here, but here it's all this way here.
The,
But you're saying you're going from here. Does this existing roof already, God, it doesn't show it.
let's see if I have another, might have another photo that.
I'll think right here. This probably,
Coming up on Rick.
this probably shows what colors here.
Yeah, that's a better angle there.
So it's already existing. I have it.
That's a much better picture to see what, to your question. Yeah, okay, so.
I know we look at the other side, but still.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Please, from that, yeah.
yeah. But
I else have anything else? We have
the existing dormer has gutters on it, it looks like. So you can run gutters along the dormer, you might not need to put gutters on that back wall.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, part of the gutters over did. The connecting
Yeah,
building.
you wouldn't have to put the gutters down below where it would go.
Yeah.
It would count,
Right.
just leave it up all on top,
Leave it up.
makes sense anyway.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, that'd be what they have to deal with. But
Yeah, he wouldn't have to adjust the distance.
Right. Do I have anything else? Do we have anybody online? Party in public?
We do have two people online.
Do they have any comments that they would like to add?
Does anyone online have any comments? I'm not hearing any.
Then we'll go to,
Wade McGee, 340 South Shore Drive. I live on the other side of the house. Seeing the plans and I know the history of the house. My wife and I have no problems with
oh,
we approve.
that's good to know. That's,
So they got both neighbors are
neighbors are
in
agreeable.
agreement that this is fine.
And I didn't bring it up because he wasn't really changing anything on your side that really affect you, but you shall have the right to object or agree.
What is your address?
340
340?
South Shore Drive.
So is this renovation gonna start immediately then, or in the spring? or-
Yeah, our goal would be as soon as we can. We'd have to, I was waiting for this evening before we engage any purchases, materials, things like that. So,
You have a
Make sure it's going through.
yeah, before we do anything, but yeah, to
Pretty
answer your
smart.
question, we'd like to do it as soon as we
A
can.
local contractor then, or?
Yeah, there's a local, Bob Hensley with Mike's Maintenance. I don't know if you guys know Bob at all, but he's,
Took over for Mike Rowe.
right, yeah, so, Bob is gonna help us out. I actually work in the construction business too, so I've got
Oh,
ability to, help with it as well, so.
Alright. Anybody has nothing else? I'll entertain a motion.
do we have any form when we?
We don't have it on the back, so I didn't know.
Oh, yeah, I need to print one of those out. I'm sorry.
No,
I know I was missing something somewhere along the way. Bear with me for a moment and I'll print it. Maybe.
Multiple copies or just one?
I'll need to make multiple copies.
Objection.
If I get to the right place on my computer,
But I guess the.
I'll get multiple copies. I knew I felt like I was missing something.
Used to in past, so
I just want to sign my name again.
that's what it is. Huh? Who you're officially vice president, right?
You're showing up to every meeting, so it's really just like, just
Well,
doesn't matter.
apparently I didn't save it the right way. That's not showing up. Let me look. I have to go in and get it a different way. There it is. See if that's it. Yep. I apologize for not having that printed.
We're gonna have to not raise.
Oh, don't go that way.
Cost of living, yeah, I would think. Do something, right? I see.
Yeah, if it goes up, not down. One mistake. While it's printing, you can actually read it off of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Finding of facts,
I'll have the form here. Kevin should bring it in a moment.
and we have to go through the three things, so if you disagree on any one of the ones, you'll have to vote no, just so you know, and so the public knows.
You'll need to add the date in.
First from general welfare, and the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Agree or disagree? And number two is adjacent property. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Agree or disagree? And number three, practicability, the strict application of terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Situation shall not be self-imposed nor be based on a perceived reduction of or restriction on economic gain. Agree or disagree?
I'm noting in the remarks, the actual case number, since the case number is not stated up in the variance requested.
All right.
And you need to write the date on it also.
Yes.
I'm gonna fill it out, do that on the previous.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a good idea.
Okay.
A lot of people use.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
After this, entertain a motion to approve case number.
I'll make a motion, we approve, the variance for case number 2024-B02 as presented.
It's 5 foot 5 inch setback from 10 foot side yard setback.
I'll second.
First and second. No other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair says aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Unanimous. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all.
Very good
Appreciate it.
presentation.
Thank you. Work in the morning and help with my wife and the kids.
Yeah, have a safe trip.
We'll be out and like we'll stop by.
Yeah.
All right. Go to new business. New businesses. Thank everybody for taking time. And so- Do we have any new business as far as building commissioner?
For the BZA, no, I just say really, really slow all the way around. Be it building permits. We had a second BZA case that was withdrawn. The applicant had made some errors in some measurements, so he's going to refile in February. He's going to have at least 3 different. He's refiled already. He's sending his check in now. He's going to request 3 different types of variances for a house at 908 South Plymouth Street.
And I mean,
908 South Street,
South Plymouth Street.
South.
So that variance will come up for February. South Plymouth Street.
Plymouth.
3 variances.
Steve and I,
So just to give you a little advance notice, the request is in, we'll wait for the check and then I'll send out, I'll put a legal notice out and send out letters, but he wants to put a second addition on an existing house and put a porch on that house on the front or the west side. It's going to be kind of a wraparound porch.
and it's
The house comes in and then narrows to the front, so he wants to just extend the porch and kind of wrap it around. And then he wants to put a yard barn in the yard, which he's wanted variance for that also. More to come. So on that, I get that information, I'll send it out to you.
it is an honor.
Does it come in front of TRC?
Pardon?
Is it come in front of TRC?
It's an R1 zoned,
It's our.
So,
So
So,
but otherwise, just generally not a lot going on. The Plan Commission is going to hear a case for the 3rd time next week.
yes.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to meet for the last 2 weeks if they hadn't heard this one for the 3rd time. So it's really slow and there's nothing in the works for the Plan Commission outside of that either. Building permits compared to a year ago are very slow also. Just not a lot happening right now in comparison again to a year ago. I don't know why. Could be a lot of things, could be interest rates kind of catching up that they went up. I don't know. I'd just be a guess, but
Waiting on the election.
Yeah.
but government also the a lot of the government money's going away now too. So we had the all the government handout money is going away now. That stopped. So those things are happening.
Yeah, I didn't get.
I don't know if that affects any people doing anything or not, but could be a lot of different reasons, but that's what's going on right now in my world. It's slow. It's really slow.
So it's not seasonal. It's compared to this time last year.
Yeah, I don't see it being seasonal at all. I can update you the Vista or Villa Apartments on 624 Forest Place. I had yeah, it was in the paper.
Yes,
But
I was I was like, wow.
I find them,
Straight up those apartments.
so they're the two white apartment complexes on Forest Place, just off of Academy Drive. Kind of like behind the grocery store and the dentist office.
County or whatever it is.
So I fined them $200 because they didn't have smoke detectors working. They hadn't filled out their paperwork for smoke detectors in years, but I went back 2 years, they hadn't filled it out. So I went in there, their smoke detectors, all were expired, most weren't working. I went to test one of them, it literally fell apart when I pushed the button. I went in one of the apartments and one of them was hanging by one wire. None of the fire extinguishers had been inspected in 2 or 3 years. The lighted exit signs, none of those were working. So I fined them $200. They paid that. I also ordered them to make repairs to their roof on both buildings. If you've seen those places, they've been patched on top of patches. 2 of the apartments have water leaking into them from the roofs. One of them, I was able to get them to move one of the tenant out into another apartment, and I condemned it, the apartment. There's another one that's leaking. Fortunately, it's slow enough. I'm trying not to condemn that so that the people won't have anywhere to go. So I've got a response back from the owner. I gave them the notice of violation with the fine for the other things. They paid the fine. The notice of violation was, it said that they have to fix it or essentially we're going to tear it down.
What's the timeline?
He responded back. He said in February, so I'm going to take it by the end of February, he'll have both roofs replaced. What brought that place to both Kevin's and my attention was their garbage hadn't started piling up, and it piled up for 3 or 4 weeks. They didn't have a contract. It ran out with the garbage company and they didn't renew it. So that got our attention. Kevin got on that right away. A lot of credit to Kevin does a lot of stuff. I don't know if everybody's aware how much he really does, but he does a lot. He got the garbage picked up. We were going to have it picked up one way or another. And if the town had to pay for it, the town would. We'd charge them back. If they don't pay for it, we can put a tax lien on their property. It didn't come down to that. They were able to get that taken care of. I worked with a lot of the residents in that place too. I've been there many times now. We don't have enough time to go into all my experiences going in there. But there's only so much as building commissioner I can control, and that's mostly structurally. I can't control how the tenants live or what kind of leases or any of those kind of agreements. I only can control the structure has to be safe. It has to meet certain codes. That's my authority. So I've worked on that. So as long as the owner follows through and fixes the roof, that's bottom line is that's good. And if the roof is good, that'll protect the rest of the structure.
Right.
One of the buildings is probably half empty. Why they're not fixing the units up and cleaning them up and putting some paint and carpet in there. Not our business. Don't know. That's up to the owner. But it'd be nice if they did. Those are all subsidized apartments. They're subsidized by the USDA. Why USDA is into subsidizing housing, I don't know, but they are. So we've also been in touch with the USDA. It's been quite an interesting ride so far, but it really boils down to is we got a commitment from the owner to fix the roofs.
What about what's the timeline for the smoke detectors and fire?
They're done.
Done.
The day I made the call to the management company, I gave them little choice. If they didn't fix them, I was going to go in and replace them and charge them for my time in the smoke detectors. They had somebody here the next day and fixed everything. To say I was fairly stern with them at that point.
What about the one apartment that you condemned? Putting a roof on that, and still, I mean,
Both buildings are going to have new roofs.
right, but will the new roof fix that one apartment or whatever? Does it have to have more work done in it before it's recognized, or?
They'll have to repair the drywall on the inside. But even with that, as long as the roof on the outside's fixed, if it's got a hole inside in the drywall, it's not really in violation of any particular code.
That's what I'm wondering, because I know there's a fine line there.
It's not pretty, but it's not really violating a code. I mean, again, we're limited, structurally, okay?
Right,
There's a difference between ugly and compliant.
but I know when you come with water coming in on drywall, you've still got mold problems that could
Potentially.
potentially. And if those are recognized, and that would change the whole outcome.
So when they start doing all that, they'll have building permits.
Right.
They don't necessarily need a building permit to patch a drywall hole. You don't have to have that. So it depends on who moves in and if they have other complaints or not. Now you have to remember that when you have a subsidized apartment, a lot of times people aren't going to complain about problems, because if they complain, and again, if it gets condemned and they have to move out, they might not have anywhere to go. So people are hesitant to complain about something like that because there aren't very many subsidized places to live in.
That's why I just think second.
So you have that problem where it might not be up to code, but somebody's not necessarily going to say anything because they don't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah, it's like creating a problem, what it does, but yeah.
But fortunately, there's a lot of people I spoke to were really open and told me a lot of issues that they had.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, out of the issues they have, like a broken garbage disposal, it's got nothing to do with me.
Right. Sorry, that's low.
So at the end of February, I'll know more if we see the contractors there.
Can the Board of Health intervene?
I've had the Board of Health with me there twice. So no, because they have been there spraying for bugs. And nobody complained of any kind of cockroaches or bed bugs or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
And they did have notices posted that they were going to spray when they spray. So they did do that.
Anything else? All right, if not, our next meeting is at 6:30 p.m. Thursday, February 20th, 2025. And I will.
I'm not gonna be here. I'll be in California. So I'll let you know.
Oh, Fire.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
That's way down south, my hometown over there. So.
Yeah.
All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Got first and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope. Aye. Pardon?
We adjourned?
Yes, motion carries.
7:09.